Hey folks, welcome back. So today we're going to try to see if we can fix this barrel wobble issue on this gun, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. But basically, WE uses this O-ring right here. It's a rubber O-ring uh, as kind of a crush washer to help keep the barrel from wobbling around. And to demonstrate that, you can see that here. Basically, let me pull this bolt back real quick. Alright. So, if you see here, it might not be as dramatic in the shot right here, but look at this. So, it's supposed to be very well attached here, but if you... So you can see some movement, there's a lot of play. And that's just because the O-ring's been damaged while it's been removed. And you might get a better angle if I do it like this way too. See, so it shouldn't be wobbling that. So as you can see here, it's just a delta ring and the barrel nut that's attached right now. And right now, you'll notice some barrel wobble. See, I'm just bending, so there's a lot of play right there. So here you'll see at the very edge of the barrel collar right there, there's a little rubber O-ring. That black rubber O-ring is slightly damaged, and so you'll see there's some like torn rubber on the side. That is supposed to be the crush washer that's supposed to hold against or press against the barrel nut to hold it securely in place. So in this next shot, I've removed the crush washer, or really the O-ring, because it's been damaged. So it's not a tapeworm right there. That's just the O-ring that was removed from it. So here basically is the same picture as before, but without the O-ring installed. So it's just the barrel and the tip or the edge of the or the barrel collar exposed in this picture right here. So that's because the O-ring's been damaged and I removed it here. So we're going to try to see if we can fix that today. I bought some O-rings. Hopefully these are the dimensions that will work. They seem comparable in size when at the store. So let's try to replace them and we'll see where they go from there. Alrighty. We'll fast forward through all of this so we don't... Now I have to let's see here. I have to do this because unfortunately I did put in real steel AR-15 handguards, and so it's a little bit more difficult to remove now because and that's a different video that we'll talk about the handguards here, but I found it easier. Instead of prying through this delta ring or this retention delta ring here, it's just easier just to remove it from the front and then fixing it that way. Okay. Alrighty. So again, put that aside so we don't lose it. Okay. See here. And then take that caps off. Okay, so right now I have some rubber bands in there. That's not doing the job, but that's where the O-ring is supposed to go. But the rubber band didn't do anything, so let's see if the O-ring will do the trick. Okay. Alright, so let's try this.
Okay, looks like it's a perfect fit. So let's see if this will now work on this gun. Okay, so I'll put this back on like so. Okay, and we'll oil it up a little bit. Hold on. Oiling it up will help swell the O-ring a little bit, so I'm going to apply a little bit of oil there. Okay. Right. Let's see if we can Now here comes one of the hard parts. When you're assembling one of this, these are the real steel handguards. So it's easier to remove it when you're like this. They have toolkits to help remove these if this is something that's being done often. There we go. So as you can see, and then you can use the tool that comes with the gun. This is the nut locking wrench, and you can tighten it that way. Basically, I'll fast forward through this though. Now the trick is, now that it's all tightened, you have to make sure that the inner spring on the delta ring and the delta ring itself, as well as the barrel nut, all aligns where the hole is, and you want to make sure that you're going to be able to stick straight through it, and it all aligns. There's only one part where all three of those align, so that's why it's important to get that straight and have that crush washer there so you can get the perfect closure. Now, the real steel version, of course, the reason why we need that is we need the gas pipe or the gas tube to go straight in there and basically be used to push the bolt carrier group back. Of course, since this gun operates differently, that's not really essential, but because it's part of the makeup of the gun, we want to keep it installed that way too. But if you didn't care about the inner realisms of it, because again, this is just a metal rod, it's hollow, it's not a real gas tube, you don't have to worry about that. So if that were the case, you can just keep tightening it further, and you wouldn't have to worry about the bolt. Sorry, the crush washer. But in this case, so we put in the crush washer. This looks very sturdy. No barrel wobble, so very good. And because the reason why I set the bolt back is that it really helps show how sturdy it is if you install the crush washer or replace the crush washer O-ring and do this, because when the bolt's pushed back or is locked to the rear, there's less support and less stability for the barrel, so it'll tend to wobble a lot more. And so in this case, there's no wobble basically, despite the bolt being locked back. So that's something to show. So that's it for that one. So now we can just basically reinstall the hand guards as usual. And I know some folks, what they do is they basically, this part would be on like this, and imagine that the whole front sight post and everything's on, and they basically just kind of pry the delta ring back and then remove it from here, and then of course do the same thing, pry the delta ring back and remove it like that. But I found that I think that kind of is a lot of work, so I think it's just easier just to install it this way. And we'll do another video comparing the real steel handguards to the original stock handguards for this gun here. But I found this to be a very easy way to install and less hassle, basically, to install these handguards. Okay, so there you go. Fits in nicely like that with minimal effort, and that's the key there. Minimal effort is what we're going for. then we want to take this part right here, fit that on top like this, and then that, and here comes the part where it's important that we lined it up, right? So now we got to make sure we feed that through the top railing and make sure it goes straight through. Caught on something, I'm not sure what. Oh, there we go. There you go. See, so notice how it went straight through because I lined up all the spring where the gaps are and the barrel nut where the gaps are, along with the gap in this thing. So it went straight through and into the receiver. So now you got the front looking like this, and now what we can do is now we can attach the top piece of the handguard. And what I do is I kind of like push this front up a little bit to give me more room to play with, and then pull this back. Okay, and now we can push this delta ring back, and then kind of snap into place. Oops. It's still there we go. It's still a very difficult tight fit, but at least it's a little bit easier than doing it with the whole front sight post and this retaining plate here installed. So there you have it. Whoops, it's a little still not quite securely in place yet. Let me try to make sure I snap it back together. Alright, there we go. So that's how it should be. So I had to push this a little bit back because I didn't realize this was still loose, so I kind of pushed it back, and then I closed it up, and then the handguards were able to firmly lock into place, and then the delta ring just came forward, so it looks like it's nice and secure. This side is closed, but on this side, the other side, sometimes it's a little bit open. If it's open, then you can just squeeze it together and eventually pop them back into place. But very nice. And I really like these new handguards, the real steel handguards, but that's another topic for another day. But it's really nice how it fits in here. But anyway, so check it out. No barrel wobble. Very nice and sturdy, despite the bolt being locked back. So again, these are the dimensions for the O-rings to help replace them with right here, and they work perfectly. So don't have to worry about getting, because I looked into looking at getting shims like as a more permanent solution, but with these O-rings, you know, I had the original stock one for 2 years, and these are pretty cheap anyway, so if you, even if they don't last that long for you, you can always get a new box or a new pack right here, and then they're pretty easily replaceable. So there you go, folks. Hope you y'all saw something really helpful here, and then let me know if there are any questions, and then give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot, folks. See y'all next time.